What does it mean to be insulin resistant? Maybe you have insulin resistance. Maybe you did some labs and you were told you have insulin resistance, or we think you have insulin resistance. In this video, we're going to explain what it means to be insulin resistant and what a working model you can use to help you better understand what's going on inside your body when you are insulin resistant. I'm Dr. Taranella, and if you want to better understand what insulin resistance is, keep watching and we're going to discuss the details. We're all about helping you gain deeper knowledge and understanding of what's going on in your body. That's why we produce these videos. So hopefully this edition gets you a little bit closer towards that aim. I also wanted to point out that sometimes when I'm producing these videos and content, that sometimes I get a slight thing wrong, like quoting something, a stat or a name of something. And so there's a corresponding blog article on our website, swintegratedmedicine.com/blog, that has a lot more detail, and we'll correct those mistakes if there are any. It doesn't happen that often, but sometimes it does, and the blog article will correct for those. So I also wanted to point out that if you like this type of information, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you watching. If you do have any questions about any of the content, either here or on the blog, that's what the comment section is for, to ask those questions. So again, thanks for watching, and let's dig into it. So what does it mean to be insulin resistant? One way to think about this is that it's a process by which your body is no longer accepting the same amount of glucose or carbohydrates into the tissues with the same amount of insulin that it previously did. And you can think about it as your body becoming less and less efficient at its ability to take up and store macronutrients in general. Macronutrients meaning protein, carbohydrates, and fat. But specifically, it's referring to, in most instances, the carbohydrates. So let's look at what happens with insulin and glucose in normal situations when you don't have insulin resistance, so we can better understand what's going on with insulin resistance. Okay, so first we want to look at what is insulin. So insulin is a hormone that's produced by the pancreas in response to higher than normal blood glucose levels. And again, blood glucose is basically the carbohydrate, a small carbohydrate that's floating around in your blood. And when the pancreas detects higher than normal amounts, it's going to produce more insulin. And the insulin then will help to open up channels or doorways into the tissues and cells so that this glucose can be taken up. And that glucose or carbohydrate is important because it's what your body uses. It is one of the main sources of energy that your body uses and it turns it into this form of energy called ATP. Now, there are some other forms of energy to do this, but for the purpose of this video, we're just going to focus on the effect of carbohydrates or glucose on this process. So back to the glucose is being used to help your body make ATP, and instead of turning all of the food into energy right when you eat it, it needs to store some of it away so that your body can have energy consistently on demand when it needs it. So it can mobilize some of this stored energy when it, if you're running away from, someone chasing you, or you need to sprint, or and then, when you're sleeping, you may not need as much energy. And so it has this process by which it can store this energy. But your body only has so much space to store this energy. And that's why, we have different people that are different sizes, of course, but as the space gets used up, the efficiency at storing these macronutrients and carbohydrates, the efficiency kind of goes down. That process is what happens with insulin resistance. As the efficiency kind of goes down over time, you're getting more and more insulin resistant. And one way we see that is that your insulin levels go up and up and up because you need more insulin to open up those channels or gates. So let's talk a little bit more about how this storage process works. So the first compartment, the first storage compartment that's typically filled up after you're eating, and also the first one that gets depleted when you are going about your daily activities, exercising, etc. The first storage compartment that wants to be filled up is the liver. So there's like a deposit of stored glucose, which is referred to as glycogen, in your liver. So that's storage spot number one. Once that is filled up, then it goes in stores as muscle, or stored in muscle. And again, this is glycogen. So several glucose molecules together is called glycogen. So number one is the liver, then it's in your muscles, and then after that, the stored glycogen gets turned into a triglyceride and is stored in fat deposits, and it's stored as fat. The more storage space that's filled up, so as that liver glycogen gets filled up more often, it's full, muscles are full, then the body becomes less and less efficient at putting more of that stored glucose out of the blood and into the storage compartments. So this is what makes the blood glucose go up, because it can't get out of the blood as quickly as it otherwise could. So earlier on, you can say, you had plenty of storage space. It just quickly went into these storage compartments. But over time, as they became fuller, it can't get out and get into these storage compartments. So as that process kind of evolves more and more, that glucose then is seen by the pancreas. The higher glucose levels is seen by the pancreas, and then the pancreas says, oh, we need to produce more insulin, and then the insulin goes up. The insulin then will literally open up more doorways, or open it wider, so that more can get jammed into that space. Over time, the muscles and tissues that store this blood sugar become less and less efficient, partially because they are so full, and then most of it gets stored in the fatty tissues. So, and then insulin has to go up even further, and this process over, kind of reciprocal process is referred to as insulin resistance. Now, there's a lot more nuance to the process than this, but this model seems to work in terms of, what you do about it, how you help people get through it, and why it seems to happen in general. But there are, a lot more mechanisms involved and details. So you may be asking, why is my storage compartments getting filled up? Why am I not processing through some of this carbohydrate and other energy sources in an efficient manner? 10 years ago, this wasn't happening. Why is it happening now? Well, it tends to, gradually build up over time. And there's lots of reasons why people's cells and tissues become less efficient. Part of it has to do with, how the mitochondria are working. These are considered the powerhouses of the cell. We've all seen probably pictures of these mitochondria, and they're detecting, the things in the environment and they may receive a signal to sort of slow down. And, the current science isn't really, we don't really know all the details of why this happens, but it does seem like, a crucial part is this insulin resistance occurring, where you have this increased storage is actually working as a signal to slow down the processing of the glucose through the mitochondria. And that's why no matter what you do, the key thing for helping your body with insulin resistance is to you need to reverse the excess insulin, and to do that you need to reverse the excess storage of these macronutrients to make the body more efficient at processing what you're consuming on a daily basis. So hopefully that helped answer the question, what is insulin resistance? Gives you a working model to approach this in your own health. If you like the video, please click on the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.